What's up YouTube? My name is Gavin Lee. This is my first video on this channel, and for those of you wondering what this channel will be, it will be a sports channel where I dedicate talking about sports, like previewing, reactions, my predictions, and so on. It'll expand as we go, but this is my first video, so might as well figure out what I'm doing. So first, I want to start off with previewing the Notre Dame versus Wisconsin, which is arguably the biggest game tomorrow, at least in the morning slate, I believe. So this is going to be a huge game, as both of these teams will need to win this one if they want to get a good start to their season. I will be relying on my laptop to help me kind of organize what's going on here, since I'm going to do multiple games. So Notre Dame will be facing Cincinnati and Virginia Tech, USC, UNC, and Navy, and so on after this game, after they play the Badgers. So this game will be critical for them to get their season rolling, as they have not been super impressive lately. First off, they won in an overtime thriller with a Florida State team that is now 0-3. And then they barely beat Toledo. In fact, I believe, just by like a field goal. But they did have a convincing win last week against Purdue, who did have a great start to their season. So hopefully they will get on the right track. Michael Meyer and Avery Davis have been the prolific receivers for Jack Cohn in the last few games, as Avery Davis will be coming off of a 120-yard game with 5 receptions and 1 touchdown. And then Kyron Williams is coming off an amazing performance where he has 12 carries for 91 yards, which is 77.6 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. And Jack Cohn did have a good performance last week too, as he went 15 for 31 and threw for 223 yards. So it is looking pretty not too bad for the Irish, considering that it's not going to be in Wisconsin, and it will be at Soldier Field, which should be a pretty neutral location for both teams, I would say. Maybe there will be more of one fan base. I know a lot of Fighting Irish fans will be passionate and will probably make the trip. Same with Wisconsin. And it will be a big game. As for the Wisconsin side of the story, as we look at Wisconsin, of course, we all saw that Big Ten thriller to start off the Fox Big Noon kickoff, as Penn State barely took down Wisconsin. Wisconsin fought hard in that game, and then they blew out Eastern Michigan 34-7 a few weeks ago on September 11th. And Graham Mertz had a better performance than his first game, where he threw some just arid interceptions. Like, he just looked very uncomfortable, and he just made some poor decisions in that game from what I remember. But he did not have any turnovers, yet he did not score any touchdowns. He kind of left that to the running game. And then Chez Mellusi has been amazing, as he ran for around 120 plus against Penn State, and then he ran for 144 yards on 20 carries. That's 7.2 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown against Eastern Michigan. Of course, it's Eastern Michigan, so we shouldn't be mind blown quite per se, but still, Mellusi is proving to be the number 1 back. But Guerrero and Berger are also proving to be good, solid 2 and 3, as their rules will probably be more figured out as Wisconsin plays games, since they had a bye week last week. So we're not 100% sure who this Wisconsin team is yet. As Penn State, that was a good competition, and they have a not too bad receiving core. I mean, Jake Ferguson is arguably one of the best tight ends in the country, and Kendrick Pryor, he is not too bad as a receiver either, and Davis and DK are pretty good too. Though, yes, it will be an interesting matchup, as Notre Dame's defense, once they're ready, they're ready. So And this will be critical for Wisconsin. Why? They will also be facing Michigan. Luckily, they'll be at home to face Michigan, but they will be facing Michigan next week. And then it won't be quite too bad for them. They'll face Illinois on the road on October 9th, and then they'll face Army at home, and then they'll go to Purdue, and then they'll face Iowa October 30th. But this game, I don't think it would quite determine that factor far. But they will also want to get a good rhythm going, as they will face Michigan, who seems to be revitalized as they've now become a run-first team. So this will be a big game too. And another big note is Jack Cohn, who is the quarterback for Wisconsin from 2017 to 2020, as Graham Mertz stole his job pretty much last year. I mean, after one game, which was against Illinois, and Graham Mertz had that 5-touchdown performance, all of a sudden Chris was just like, screw you, Cohn, and let's throw in Graham Mertz. And I'm not going to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Graham Mertz has not impressed me. He has not been that impressive a quarterback since he had that one outstanding first performance. Granted, he did have COVID the few weeks after that game, but he has just been unimpressive for me. And I feel like Jack Cohn is clearly should have been the quarterback. But, I'm not Wisconsin. I'm not the coaching staff, so what do I have to say about it? Of course, I've really been impressed with Jack Cohn, though, integrating into the offense. He has been doing pretty well so far. I mean, let's look at how he has done as a quarterback. So for Florida State, he threw 366 yards, 26 for 35, so really good completion numbers right there. 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. Cohn has been and then let's see the Toledo game. I mean, Toledo, that one will be hard to judge because they are a cupcake. But, I mean, let's see. He went 239 for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. And 21 for 33. So far we've seen good completion percentage. And in his first 2 games, he pretty much went for almost 600 yards, if not 600 yards. And he went for 6 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And then if we take a look at his numbers against Purdue, as that was also a really good game for him. 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, though he was under 50% in his completions with 15 for 31. Though Kyren Williams had a good game to make up for it. And yeah. I mean, Cohn has been pretty good. I mean, what we saw was pretty much he has 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I mean, he has been amazing and over 800 yards for the Fighting Irish. And he's just been an incredible player. And I think that he will have an edge as he faces his former team, who pretty much gave up on him last year. And as we look at the ESPN preview for the game, the problem would be the Irish's offensive line, as the sorry, I have a cold. As the Fighting Irish have permitted 14 sacks, which is tied second in the country. And they have not been opening quite too many holes for the running game, Kyren Williams. And so far, and it is said that Wisconsin's defense will be the toughest defense for Notre Dame. Though they will be facing some tough defensive lines, such as USC, Virginia Tech, Cincinnati, Stanford, and then Georgia Tech gave Clemson a run for their money. We don't know what Georgia Tech's quite going to be like yet. But, I mean, Wisconsin's offensive line appears to have been struggling. I will be honest, I have not watched a Notre Dame game yet. I've been too busy. I've been watching all the other games. But, I mean, that's still concerning if they've allowed 14 sacks so far on Jack Cohn. Like, he needs protection. And And if Kyron Williams has not rushed for over 100 yards in a game, he came close last game. So it seems like they might be improving in that general direction. Though Jack Cohn's incompletion percentage is kind of concerning, but, you know, that's the beauty of football, is we never know what's going to happen. And let's see what else is pretty notable from this. So they will be getting the Badgers will be getting one of their best linebackers, who is really good at pass rush, Leo Chanel, after he tested positive for COVID-19 at the beginning of the year. So he missed the first 2 games. He had 3 sacks in 7 games last week. And according to ESPN, he should be a good edge rush to go along with their interior guys, Matt Henningsen and Keanu Benton. And then, let's see, something also noteworthy about this matchup that I did read, that I finally found, which was what I was looking for. The Irish and Badgers have played 16 times, but it has not been since 1964. So it has been 57 years since they've last played. And Notre Dame beats the Badgers 31-7, but that was, 57 years ago, so that didn't matter. That was back when the Irish were really dominant. Though, with all that said, here is my prediction for the game. I think Jack Cohn will have an amazing game. I think it's hard to say how they'll hold up against Wisconsin's defensive line, because Wisconsin is great on both sides of the trenches, but I think that Notre Dame may pull this off. It feels like they're good at these type of matchups. It will be close. I know that for a fact. I think that it will be a 1-score game. I want to say it will probably be in the 20s. It could be like a 27-24 type of game, something around there, ballpark there. And I think that this will be a good game. There will be a good showcase on defense. And it'll just come down to which quarterback will be which quarterback wants to win it more. And I think Jack Cohn will come in I think he's clear-cut better than Graham Mertz. And I think he will use Avery Davis and Michael Myers very well. And let's see any other receivers they got. I'm not 100% familiar. Oh yeah, Kevin Austin, he's also not too bad. And then they can also use Kyron Williams a little bit. I think Kyron Williams will have a better game, as he's coming off his best performance so far this season. And yeah, I think Notre Dame will pull it off just based on their recent history in the last few years, as they usually pull off these games in quite some crazy fashion. So that is my prediction. I guess we'll see if I'm wrong or right or close on tomorrow. And I will be predicting some more games really quick. And just stay tuned. Thanks for watching this first video, and I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you.